Waking up early is overrated. People say that the early bird catches the worm. Well, I think that the worm should have just stayed in bed a little longer. We've all just decided that waking up as early as possible is the key to having a happier, more productive life. But why? Why has there been this huge rise in the culture of TikTok and YouTube of people waking up at 4 a.m. and 5 a.m. to start their day? How has that become the gold standard of success when all the geniuses throughout history have had such varying sleeping habits? Einstein slept 10 hours a day and woke up at 8 to 9 a.m. Nikola Tesla slept 3 to 4 hours a day but made it up with power naps. And Da Vinci, he did this weird thing called polyphasic sleep scheduling where all he did was have 20-minute naps multiple times in the day and that's all he slept. My point is that there is no correlation between success or productivity and waking up when the sun rises. Being a night owl myself who's tried a million times to fix my sleep schedule, I wanted to finally shed light on all the counter arguments to waking up early and show you how you as a night owl can be just as productive with the correct habits. We've all done the thing of planning the night before to wake up at 5 a.m. to be super productive that day. But at the end of it, opening our eyes up at 11 a.m., feeling deflated and feeling like a failure. It's so annoying and you feel like you've wasted the whole day. Firstly, be logical. You haven't wasted the whole day. You still have the majority of it left at your disposal. And secondly, I know that we're made to feel like we're lazy if we wake up later in the day. But you have to realize that the people that are feeding this message through and the people that think that way are actually morning larks. These are the people that thrive in the morning, that wake up naturally and alert at that time. So they think that we're being lazy by not waking up at that time when our body clocks are naturally not wired that way. Scientific evidence suggests that there are two types of people based on our body clocks: the morning larks and the night owls. Back when we were living in tribes, some of us would have to take the day shift where we would have to stand guard and protect our community, our tribe in the day, and some of us would have to take the night shift. And it's said that us night owls are most likely the descendants of those people that took that night shift. So we naturally have the tendency to wake up later in the day and we cognitively function better at night. In the book The Power of When, Dr. Michael Bruce suggested that every one of us has a master biological clock in our brain. But the thing is, everyone's clock is set to a different time. All of our bodies are programmed to function better or worse at certain times of the day. So constantly forcing ourselves to go against this and get that ideal 4 a.m. wake up time is madness. It does not make any sense and it is unhealthy. Unless you have to for classes, your job, or your family. But for the rest of us, it's created this narrative that you're just lazy or you won't get as much work done if you don't wake up as early as The Rock does. And this leads me to the next bit. The practical habits and tips that we can use to take advantage of being a night owl and keep as productive as possible. As a night owl, our energy levels are low to moderate in the morning and afternoon times, and they really peak cognitively in that evening to night time. But despite us not being morning people, we still have to place emphasis on two things. One, a specific time to get out of bed, and two, a speedy morning routine. Stay with me because it may sound simple, but it's the difference between having a lazy and lethargic day versus having a good productive day. If you're like me, there's a big danger of you lingering in bed after you've just woken up and just going on your phone because your energy levels are going to be much lower in that morning time. You just won't have that motivation to get out of bed unless you need to for like a class. So having that set time of waking up whenever that is, whether it's 9 a.m. or 11 a.m., having that set time is crucial. As soon as you're out of bed, it's really ideal that you have a quick morning routine that you follow every day to condition and trigger your brain to wake up. And it can be as simple as peeing, brushing your teeth, and making a cup of tea with an audiobook in the background. That's what mine is. You can change up yours to whatever you want and suit your schedule, but having a routine that you follow every day really does condition you to become active, especially when your body is in those low energy level states. How to study during the day. Focusing on the low energy tasks that are more observational, creative, or even admin type stuff is best for your mornings and afternoons. As a night owl, the daytime is your recovery period. It's like working out a muscle. If you do a leg day one day, you won't just repeat it the next day. You'll leave it for a couple days to recover that muscle. So if you got school or uni, then going to class, taking notes, doing a bit of group work, all of these are low to moderate energy level tasks that can be done without much effort. Tackling the less complex stuff throughout the day is better because you're not unnecessarily tiring your brain out. So for me, this would involve going to PBL, lectures, or anatomy and still doing all the work, being active, but not getting myself bogged down in heavy learning. In the afternoon, I end up hitting a big low in my energy. And if you're the same, then I suggest, well, not doing anything. Doing your light homeworks, exercising, eating, spending time with family, whatever you want to do with that time, but not putting pressure on yourself, getting all the light and easy stuff out of the way before your evening session, which is when your cognitive ability and your energy levels will rise up. How to study during the night. Now, this is when your energy levels are up there, when you feel productive, when you're ready to tackle complex physics problems, analyze text, cover all the difficult content that you've been struggling with in that week. For me, my evenings basically involve two things. First, going through and understanding all the the difficult lectures of that week, making sure that I'm putting in the effort of converting all the information that I'm learning into my recall questions. Then the second thing I do is that I put in effort into my active practicing of those questions. I practice those questions, I figure out what the answers are in my head without using any resources, and I basically test myself on the questions that I made today, but also from the previous weeks. My secret to focusing for hours on end: don't leave your seat. Not getting tired at the end of the day, even if you do have those high energy levels, is still challenging sometimes. So this is what I do to maintain high levels of focus. First, this might be a bit controversial, but whenever I'm feeling tired, instead of giving myself excuses to get up and out of my chair and take a break, I kind of force myself to sit there and persevere through whatever I'm doing. My rule is that I can't leave my desk until I've done at least an hour of work. And I know it may sound simple, but it single-handedly gifted me so many extra hours in my day. Because in my head, I'm always thinking, let's wait for a bit, I'm almost done. Let's keep going for those 10 minutes before I go and get my coffee. I say to myself, look, if you can't even do an hour's worth of good work, then do you really deserve this break? No, probably not. And that forces me to keep going. Finish reading that page, finish that lecture, finish writing up that paragraph. Keep pushing that break further and further. The principle behind it is simple. Every time you get out of your study space, you're giving yourself a chance to procrastinate and waste time. And we both know that unintentionally leaving that environment that you've created for yourself could mean a break of 20 minutes or it could mean a break of 2 hours. Instead, push yourself to do those extra 10 minutes. And in my experience, those extra 10 minutes usually end up being 15 minutes or even 45 minutes if you get that extra motivation in you. The rule kind of ensures that you keep persevering through the setbacks and keep on going with your work. And over time, it's really cool because it does improve your concentration levels and your commitment to your work overall. Another thing that I do is, I don't think that many people know about this, but I put a time lapse on while I study. So I put my phone in portrait mode and film myself studying on time lapse. This way, I can't get out of the app. I have to keep my notifications on silent so that my time lapse isn't cut off, and it maintains focus throughout. It's this sort of basic stuff that really ends up helping in the long run, to be honest. And at the end of it, I have sick footage of myself working so that I can use them in these videos. What to do if you lose motivation? An issue with being a night owl, or any student to be honest, and I see this consistently, is that people don't have a clear and convincing goal both in the micro and the macro. Now, what do I mean by this? If we go back to my first year in uni, I was doing biomedical sciences and I found out about this opportunity to transfer straight to medicine in my first year. But the catch was I had to get one of the highest grades amongst 200 people who were all competing for the same 10 to 15 places. But I knew this was my only chance, especially as an international student. I had 100+ hours of studying to get done, to get to that top percentile of people, and not very much time. And the way I worked during that time surprises me to this day because I immersed myself in everything that I was doing on a daily basis. And it was because I had that clear why. I began to feel this insane level of clarity in my goals and rarely ever lacked motivation. So truly reflect on why you want to do something, why you want to do well academically, because once you get to that honest core reason, that's when you can devise a plan. That's when you can get that macro goal in your head and have that motivate you in each of your micro study sessions. Time can go by so fast at night, especially if you're working hard and you're in flow state. You will not look at the clock, and before you know it, it'll be 4 a.m. And if you have school or classes tomorrow, then that is very detrimental. It's not worth it. So you need to set a timer or keep an eye on the clock. But not only that, you should also have a winding down nighttime routine, similar to the morning one, but in this case, you do things that signal to your body that you are now starting to switch off for the day. Switch off your screens, put your books away, go to the toilet, drink a glass of water, and get in bed. I mean, it can be whatever you want, but you have to make this list of things that you need to follow every day. I'm working on this too because I do need to teach myself how to wind down instead of going on TikTok before I sleep. Do this series of things and have healthier, better sleep, which is just as important for us night owls. Night owls find it a lot harder to process information in the day, especially during class. To learn how I process the information that I need to know, check this video out right here. Thank you so much for watching. If you made this far, I hope this helped. Leave a like. I'll see you in the next one.